Okay, so Kevin Feige gets asked about diversity, and he has this interesting quote where he said, let me see if I can pull it up for you, but he says something like, before woke and DEI was a thing, I said that we just want Marvel to represent what is out there when you look out your window, okay? So here's the exact quote. I'll pull this up for you guys. Kevin Feige responds to complaints about woke or DEI in the MCU. I said this before woke and DEI became a thing, and I'm still saying it after. Marvel is the world outside your window. It's not Gotham City or Metropolis. This is New York and LA. And yes, there's also Wakanda and Asgard, but it is all made up by the people who make up our world. So that's kind of like his line on diversity. He also has some interesting comments about Miles Morales. So let me hang on now, because I like the statement, right? Like, I like the statement. It's not smart to necessarily wade into those waters, try to make a distinction. You know, nuance can be completely misunderstood on the internet. Trust me, I know. So I like the answer. However, it's not true. Okay? It obfuscates the fact that there was clearly a change over the last 4 to 5 years at Marvel. And I've heard a lot of people talk about this, like Grace is talking about this. People jump down her throat about it. I've heard Chris Gore make this point. People get so butthurt when he makes this point. But it's really as simple as Marvel and Star Wars, male-dominated brands. Disney, way more female-dominated. Not like females completely dominate the Disney space, but think about it. Disney princesses, going to the parks, all that kind of merchandise. Disney does really well with female consumers. It is as simple as Disney, the corporation, acquiring these male-centric brands and then saying, how can we take our female-centric Disney audience and convert them more to these other brands? Well, we obviously need to lean more in to female characters, to female empowerment, to female stories, to the female perspective, to being female-centric. So even though Kevin's like, hey, man, we're just making movies in the real world. Look outside your window. There's all sorts of folks. That's all we've ever done. Good answer. Not really what happened. What happened was a clear corporate mandated change, a quota, the pendulum swinging way too far in one direction. And I think this has clearly had a negative effect on Marvel. You know, you might hate the MCU phrase. You might hate it when people say that. Bro, there's so many examples in the past 4 to 5 years of why people say that. I can't even get mad at people for saying it anymore. Like, they literally did it to themselves. I also think they are quietly changing this behind the scenes. Okay? So Kevin's going to say, hey, man, I just look out a window and I see folks, man. And that's what we got in the MCU is just folks, man. You know, he could say that all he wants. He's quietly adjusting behind the scenes. They are going back to a more male-centric audience. You don't have to take my word for it. Watch what happens in the next 2 to 3 years of these films. Just watch what happens. I'm telling you. Now, at the same time, does that mean they're going to completely abandon some of these characters, some of these initiatives, the idea of diversity? Absolutely not. That's not what's going to happen either. So that's kind of an interesting little thing he says there. I wonder what you think about that. But that actually takes us into a discussion about Miles Morales. Miles Morales, obviously, Spider-Man, he's Puerto Rican and black. Couple of diversity demos there. And so what's going to happen with Miles Morales? So if we look at this article, it says, don't expect a live-action Miles Morales anytime soon. Thanks a lot, Sony. Many fans have been, for years, clamoring for a live-action MCU appearance of Miles Morales, the Spider-Man who headlines the acclaimed Spider-Verse movies for Sony Animation. When asked where Marvel was in development of live-action version of the characters, Feige responded, that is nowhere, and added that Miles' fate was in Sony's hands. Sony has their brilliant, genius, incredible Spider-Verse animated franchises going, and until that finishes, we've been told to stay away, said Feige. Wow, now that's kind of wild. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean it's over for MCU Miles? Not necessarily. It more means that until that which that movie, the third movie, just got delayed again. I think it was only by a couple of weeks, but still, like, not good news over there, right? Until Sony's done with that, they've been told to stay away. Now, a couple of interesting things here, right? It's like, okay, so Sony's doing that. fair, but is Sony going to then do live action Miles after that? Kind of seems like that could be what's going on, right? Where Sony's like, you know, stay away. We don't want Miles over there because we don't want it to take away this. But then it could also translate into Sony just doing Miles as their character. They have big, successful animated franchise. Maybe they just bring him into live action. However, there are some signs out there that Sony's willing to maybe sell Spider-Man back to Marvel or let Marvel take more of the reins moving forward. I don't know, man. I guess the main answer here is like until the animated series finishes up, don't expect Miles Morales. A little bit of a bummer there. At the same time, look, they have to get their house in order. They have to figure some other stuff out. And honestly, if you're resetting all the MCU timelines, we need more Peter Parker. Like, I'm not really ready for Miles. If we're just getting the X-Men, we're just getting the Fantastic Four. Like, I want Peter and Johnny Storm to have a relationship. I want Peter to join the Fantastic Four. I want Peter to have experiences with the X-Men. Like, there's still a lot more juice here with Peter Parker. Okay? So I think you're probably looking at a situation where Miles is definitely still on that whiteboard. There's a question to whether or not he will be in Sony stuff or Marvel stuff moving forward, but not anytime soon, likely because of the delays to the animated stuff. That's kind of interesting, right? And again, in line with that whole conversation about wokeness, DEI, all of that sort of stuff, that's also interesting. So I don't know. I guess I wonder if you have any thoughts about that. It's obviously something that I think a group really, really cares about. I think quality helps and will make this conversation go away. If it was quality and they were winning, I think this conversation dies down a bit. As long as the quality is shaky and the box office performances are lower, you're going to get this whole crowd saying it's because of diversity, wokeness, etc. So interesting stuff at this big time when Marvel's looking at the future to make these comments like this. I'm pretty curious. What do you make of these comments? Do you appreciate them? Do you think they're disingenuous? What do you think about Miles? Like, I'm pretty curious, man. I'm pretty curious as to what you guys make of this situation here. Oh my God, I just went back to the chat and it's like going crazy scrolling. If Spider Noir pops off, we might get more on that platform. That's a good point. Sony's desperately trying to get some stuff to work with Spider-Man, and if they get that to work with the Amazon show, I can see them doubling, tripling down on that. They've dug such a big hole that it's going to be a tall task to bring back Infinity War Endgame hype box office levels. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Yeah. We need a whiteboard stream about the whiteboard. Oh, totally. I agree. 100%. I think that's the way to go. Give me Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099 first. Well, you know, the fact that we're doing Spider Noir kind of opens up the door for maybe Miguel with one of those shows. Like, oh, that would be sick, dude. Like, that could absolutely work, yeah. Are you down to pick the draft order for the Nerd Avengers Fantasy Football League? Hell yeah, Philip. Send me the list, man. Send me the list. And then just keep reminding me as I continuously forget. We really don't need Miles because they essentially made Peter White Miles. What? Yeah, I don't need any other Spider people in the MCU. Just a lot. I want to see Peter first. Yeah, I think there's a... I mean, that's why Spider-Man fans are really excited for street-level Spider-Man, right? Like, that's kind of why. Is like, there's still so much we haven't explored with Peter. I think a lot of folks just want more Peter Parker stories. You know, like maybe the time is just, maybe it's just not the right time. Miles could be Sony's redemption. That is true as well. They could absolutely do some good stuff with Miles. They're clearly doing good stuff in the animation. So, yeah. Yeah. I honestly forgot about Spider Noir. He's pretty cool, too. He is cool, man. I'm excited for that show, dude. I'm excited for that show. I think that shit's going to be good. I think that shit is going to be good, chat. It looks great. We've seen a lot of the leaked set photos and videos and whatnot, man. I'm telling you, they're cooked. They cooked. Hey, Josh, with you taking Tuesday and Wednesday off, you said a couple of months ago you streamed San Diego Comic-Con coverage. You still be doing that? Expect Spider-Man 4 in DC News. No stream this weekend, but Monday stream. So next Monday, because yes, so Comic-Con happens this weekend. There's no Hall H panels, but there's a lot of stuff going on. What I'm going to do is I'll keep an eye on it. And then next Monday, a week from now, we'll break it all down. We'll be talking about Fantastic Four's opening box office, and we'll break down all the Comic-Con stuff, which I do expect to be ample for sure. I think they're holding off on Miles because the animated version might cross over to the MCU as a cameo. That's also possible, yeah. The company line, Kevin is saying, we've been told to stay away until that trilogy is done. I think that's appropriate. Like, that makes sense to me. Is Spider-Man Noir Peter Parker or old gumshoe with powers, or is that somebody else? So, actually, his name in that show is Ben Parker. Ben. So, or Ben Reilly, I think, is he Ben Reilly? That's the big question. Is he a clone? What is the deal with that? I don't know. Will we ever get a proper black suit Spider-Man? I think so. I think in the next couple of years, you're going to get it. Yeah. Okay, so look, there you have it, guys. Kevin Feige's comments on wokeness, DEI, how that's changing. My sort of take on the truth of the situation, and then some stuff about Miles Morales. Kind of interesting there. Let's move along, huh?